Hey everyone, Mr. Schuler back with another lickety-split tech tip. And today I'm going to briefly talk about how you could take a Google form, turn it into a quiz, and then assign points for that quiz. All right, so I have a sample Google form here. So I created a Google form, I created a theme, I added some titles and instruction, I added a name so the students could put their name there, where they could choose their period or their class. And then I've started adding some questions here that I would want them to answer. Real quick, if I give you a little shortcut that as you make a question, there's tons of choices, but typically when you're doing a quiz, you're either going to do a multiple choice or a short answer. Either one works. But remember, you can always duplicate questions. So if I know that I'm just doing all the multiple choices, I can then customize the duplication. Right? I could change my answers, but for this question, the multiple choice still works. The other thing that I would recommend is you have a required button. Required simply means that they cannot submit the test until they select an answer. So they can't leave anything blank. They must pick an answer. So that's your choice. I mean, at the very least, I would make where they put their name required, and you can tell that it's required here because of the little asterisk. That way, you know who took the test. Their name is attached to it. Nothing's left blank. But it's not a bad idea for all of your questions that you're grading to make them required as well. All right, so once I create my questions, then I'm going to go up to the gear in my settings. In the settings, I can restrict it to anyone within my school. I can say that, hey, they can only take it one time. After they submit it, do I want them to be able to edit it and go back in? Most likely not for a quiz. Do I want to see a summary of charts? That's up to you, but again, I don't think it's necessary. Right? If it's a longer test, showing a progress bar might not be a bad idea. Shuffle question order is if you know that they're all in the same room, you can shuffle the order. It doesn't change the actual test itself. You can customize your message for when they finish, like so their end screen once they hit submit. You can customize the message. Sometimes it might be good to say, hey, now go back to this part of my web page and work on this. That's a nice idea to add for the confirmation message. But finally, you have the quiz area. And when I go to quiz, I'm going to turn it on to make it a quiz. Lock mode on Chromebooks. So if they're using a Chromebook, this locks it, meaning they can't open other tabs to like search the internet for answers. So you can turn that on, and that will help them stay on task and stay on the quiz itself. I can choose to release grades, right? Do I want to have it immediately, as soon as they're done, they'll know their grade? Or do I want to choose later, like at the end of the week, and then I send out all the grades by the click of a button? And then I can allow my students to see what they've missed, to see what they got correct, and the points values for each test. So I'm going to leave all three of those on, and I'm going to keep it immediate. So now I'm going to go to save, and what's going to happen is you don't see it immediately, but I'm going to go to the first question that I want to assign a point value to. So I'm going to use this one. It says, what are the names of the creatures above? And this is just a picture with a description. This is my actual question. So I'm going to click into it. And when I click into it, I can go down to the bottom. Now I have a new option that says answer key. Because I turned the quiz on, this now gives me the ability to click. And now I'm going to set my correct answer, because it says choose my correct answer or answers. But I'm going to pick one. It says that, hey, this check mark indicates that's the correct answer. and then I can assign my points here. That's completely up to you. I'm going to hit done, and now I know that, hey, this is the answer key. This is a 1-point question, and here's the correct answer. So I can do that. Then I can go into each question, select my answer key, how many points I want it, and then select the correct answer. And don't forget to hit that done button because that sets it. Okay. All right. So once I'm done setting all my answer keys, I can go back to the top of my quiz, and now it tells me that, hey, in this quiz that you've created, you have a total of 4 points. So now I'm going to preview my quiz. So I go and click the little I button. This is how a student will see it. So first thing it tells me is that I'm signed into my school account. And anytime I see a little asterisk, it's required. So I'm going to fill in my name. And then I can start taking my test. And I can see as a student that this is worth 1 point. So let me pick my answers. And when I get to the bottom, I'm going to have the submit button. Students must click the submit button to turn it in. The cool thing is if I click on something and I missed it and it was a required question, it's going to say, hey, you missed this. You need to go back and fill this in. And once I fill in all those required questions, I can hit the submit button. All right? Because I had immediate results, the student can view the score. Right? And at this test, I got 3 out of the 4 correct. And it'll tell me, oh, I got that one correct. They're porgs. Oh, man, Anakin Skywalker and Padme didn't have 0 children. They had 2. So because I made that an option, it tells me the correct answer. All right? So this is great instant feedback for the students if you want to turn that on. Now, if I go back to from teacher mode, I'm going to close these tabs, and I can see that, oh, I have 1 response. And I can kind of see an overview of everything. It'll tell me all the students. This is a great tool to see as an overall who's getting the questions correct and incorrect in the test. If I did a sample one to make sure it works, I can choose to hit the 3 little dots and I can delete those responses. Right? So if I do this and take it the first time, I could delete that response, and now it's not going to mess up my overall scores. The final thing that you might want to do is I can create a spreadsheet that it'll make a new title for this. And this might be helpful for you that if you want to see in your class of 20, 30, or 40, it'll give you every person's name, every person's score, and then their actual individual responses. All right, and the final thing that I want to go over is how do you get your quiz out to your students. So I'm going to close my spreadsheet, and I'm going to go back to my Google form, and then I'm going to go up to the send button, the top right-hand corner. And I have 3 options. You can choose to email this to a set of students, especially maybe if it's just 1 or 2 or 3. So I could type their emails in there. And again, you could start to type that email. The other thing you could do is you can get the hyperlink. And this is a great option that if I shorten it, and I can always copy this, and then I could paste this web link. I could paste this in my Google Classroom, or I could put that on my website. So this is another way that you can have students have access to your quiz so that they can take it. All right, so that's how you turn a Google form into a quiz. And if you have any further questions, please let me know. Thank you very much.